One hand dance. All right, let me stop.
I gotta use two. I can't
Magic from the building. Welcome. Episode 27, Underdog. Special guest in the building, returning again, Mr. Dane Lund.
Doctor.
Dane Lund. On a real tip, man. Congratulations on the baby, addition to the family. Carla is blessed to be a member of your family, man. I'm happy for you, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Trying to be like you. A big family, man. It's hard out here.
It's not easy, but I got faith in you, brother. I got faith in you. Before we go on, I wanted to share something real quick while we get the topics aligned. 1 second. Bear with me. I'm using my left hand today.
That's that left hand Lego.
You don't look today, bro.
I ran into this as I was doing my research. This one was what really got me, though. Look at the screen, Drew. Look at
I thought that was Britney Griner for a second.
Okay, I'm Oh man, I had to start off with that one. But speaking of Britney Griner, on a more serious tip, her appeal was denied again.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what to say, man. I hope she makes it home soon.
I don't know how that stuff works over there. I wish I could speak on it more, but it's to me that kind of stuff is unjust. I understand laws and laws, ignorance is no excuse. The same shit that they told us for hundreds of years, but it's like, come on, man. Like, it's 2022. You know what I mean? Like, it's gotten to that step. I understand if because of the law you might have held her until this time. If you wanted to fully be like, oh, learn your lesson. But like, come on, it's not a violent crime, bro. It's like, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Let's talk the real problem at hand. Is like, if she was white, do you think she'd be home right now?
Yeah.
I mean, she's rich, so it's not about money.
It's like I said, it's like it's a nonviolent crime. It's not like she's a professional athlete. It's not like she's a criminal or anything that they try to label a rapper or anything else that they assume is, dangerous. She's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Like, she's not some king queen pin. She's a basketball player. So I don't get it.
I think Russia's playing chess with the whole potential of World War III looming in the air. There was a story that came out a few weeks back that men from Russia were trying to escape being drafted for the war, and they escaped to Alaska, which I guess is not too far from Russia, so that they wouldn't get drafted into Putin's war. And they were seeking asylum from the US in Alaska. So, I mean, it's crazy what's going on that side of the world with the Ukraine and Russian war. And I think the Russian government is holding on to her as a bargaining chip that they will utilize when the time is right, knowing Vladimir's crazy ideologies. So that's just my take on it. I would love for her. She should not be a pawn. It's worse that she's black and they're making her go through all of this, all because she had a e-cigarette or whatever it may have been. I just hope that they sort things out and get her home to her family ASAP.
I agree with you. I think that's a good point. And that I think because of her status, that has made her the chess piece.
Yeah.
That they could hold on to. And they think the celebrity status, we're going to let people know that we have the power given our aid to Ukraine, etc. That has to be it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause this ain't heroin, this ain't powder, this ain't opioids, this ain't. It is a substance that has been legalized in a lot of places for medical reasons, for numerous other, like it's a non-violent crime. It's a like I don't understand.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is an element of like other people's culture, in other countries, weed is punishable by death
Oh man.
in some places like that. And that's, there has to be some understanding to that. But, with our legislation, our government being able to attain her should be possible. But given the current conflict that you were talking about, it makes sense why this kind of dragging out for the time it has.
Yes, sir. And to switch topics a little bit into the basketball season, we just saw Jimmy Butler showcased. Let's talk a little bit about the Pelicans, man, and just these repeated injuries. I saw the fall. I thought it was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really wanton that the Pelicans felt the need to release an injury report on what he hurt and what he damaged to, in my mind, to justify we're not going to let him play again until we feel that it is necessary for him to play.
I mean, when a player gets hurt, I feel like there's two questions at stake. Number one, the player's best interest. Number two, the team's best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are the goals and the interests are tied together. This player plays on a team.
Correct.
So you should just simply go like that. As long as that brother's healthy, it comes down to that first. After that, we'll see how the team goes. It's just unfortunate we also lost Brandon Ingram. And then ended up losing that game in overtime to Toronto. So the morale, it's just everything. Like these broken wings do not feel good over here in the Pelicans camp. So we'll try and fight through it. He's a big guy. You a big guy. You know how it is. I'm a big guy. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is when you fall, bro. It's not normal. It's you know what I'm saying? Like instant pain, instant discomfort. We'll see how it plays out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We said we, so I thought Heat was your team.
I've said this openly. I've said this openly, bro. I got 3 teams.
3. Okay.
3 teams.
Good.
I got the Kings will always be my team because they used to be in Kansas City. They used to be in Kansas City.
That's the only team that matters, right?
No. Now, the Miami Heat are my other team because they are just as old as I and us. And I've always liked them. Tim Hardaway, psychology, Glenn Hardaway, we can go on and on about it. I always liked the Heat, thought they was dope, like they colors, and they wasn't the Bulls. So it was cool when I was growing up. And then, obviously, my interest in the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. So therefore, I do like the Pelicans. And they do happen to have 2 Duke players, which is my other college team. So it's like I said, I like the Pelicans.
We heard a lot of la.
If he can have the Warriors, I can have the Pelicans.
That's what I was gonna ask you, Bowler. How are you a Warriors fan? I need to know, man.
Go ahead.
How are you a Warriors fan?
Oh, am I a Warriors fan?
Yes.
Well, see, I have 2 teams too. I've always been a Warriors fan, dating back to when Baron Davis and Steven Jackson played for them. And their coach, Don Nelson, was like the only coach I saw around in the league dressing like a mafia man, no tie on, black shirt. You know what I'm saying? Walking the sidelines like he owned the damn team. And, I remember Steven Jackson talking about how they would get high before games. Like, so I had respect for them when they went up. I forget what year it was, but they were in the playoffs. They were the 8th seed versus the 1 seed, and they knocked off the 1 seed to advance. I was like, man, these brothers are the truth, diving for the ball in their old age. And then I became a fan of Curry when he was in college, and he took his Davis's team from, I think they made it to the Elite 8, if I'm not mistaken, that year. And if you remember from our college days, even though I didn't play too much Xbox and PlayStation with you, the team I always played with was the Warriors, because I just saw the vision from early. I was like, they're going to be the face. Everybody was like, man, why are you always jacking up these threes, man? You gotta move the
I
ball
remember
if you want to win in the video game. What?
I said, I remember that. I remember you jacking up my controllers too. But that's a true underdog story, Bola. I was gonna try and blame you for your love of Golden State, but I can't. You know, they
No.
were underdogs, and I love underdogs too.
Yes, I mean, I've been a fan from way back then, and the love just grew over the years, man. I saw them come together. They've been doing great things. But speaking of the Warriors, let's talk a little about this game yesterday versus the Suns and all the ejections.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the letters.
The
I'm gonna have to
video.
take the letters of Heat and rearrange them because I'm ready to hate. I love what happened in this game.
An April type of atmosphere in here. That defense right there, that possession by Golden State. Oh, another technical.
That goes on 8, and he has 3.
You like skin. No, you like skin.
And look at Klay Thompson are continuing to
Oh,
go
shit.
at one another. I'm here for it, people. I am here for it, Miss
My
Parker.
hair curlier than yours.
Reggie Miller's so corny to me, man.
Reggie Miller's square, bro. I swear he's square.
Way to Purdue.
He's so corny, man. But what are y'all thoughts, man?
To me, that's the champion. That's the champion barking versus the underdog barking. It's the same. You know what I mean? It's that, oh, we almost there. Oh, I'm coming. Oh, I'm younger. You know what I mean? Versus they both essentially play the same position. You know what I mean? One's more of a shooter just because of the steps. You know, he dominates the ball a little bit more. But I mean, Chris Paul does too. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of similar role. And I think it was just kind of one of them, because that's what Clay was talking about, bro. Jewelry. I got 4.
That's all they could talk about.
You know what I'm saying?
They're both not physical, so they had to talk.
Yeah.
In a one-on-one matchup. In a one-on-one matchup, who you picking?
Like, they fist fight?
Mitchell.
No, just one-on-one basketball.
Oh,
Check
between
ball.
Mitchell.
Oh.
Nobody brought Mitchell into the conversation.
Oh.
Devin Booker or Klay Thompson? Who
Never mind.
Man.
Devin Booker, man.
Yeah, I say Booker because he can create more of a shot where Clay's more of a set shooter.
Definitely Booker.
Yeah.
Man, for somebody but obviously in one-on-one, you still got to check the ball. But for somebody to drop 60 with only 11 dribbles.
That's like he a set shooter. Like he is the best probably set shooter in the era.
3 quarters, by the way. Didn't play the fourth.
But off the dribble, we don't know.
All you gotta do is check ball, step side.
Are you taking Steve Kerr in any one-on-one matchups? No. Come on.
He too old. We ain't even gonna bring that one up.
No, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to one-on-one, it becomes more of a complete game. Now, Clay probably does have better defense, but Devin just has a better on-ball ability.
Yeah.
So
I might have to disagree with y'all, but it's okay.
It's gonna be a close game to 21, but Devin's winning.
I'm sleep deprived. I was saying Mitchell, I meant Booker.
It's okay. Let's move on again.
Oh, no. Hold on. We ain't
Yes,
done
sir.
with your Warriors yet.
Okay, my bad.
Not only was it them, technical foul on your technical fouls. I'm talking about 7 technical fouls in 6 minutes for the game. And Draymond and Steve Kerr got teed up too. So what's going on over there, Bowler?
Well, we only 6 games into the season, A champion's heart is always going to be tested. Everybody, you got to be the best, you got to beat the best. So everybody's throwing their best games. Like I saw Denver the other night score 70 points in the first half or some crazy amount of points. And guess what the Warriors did the next night? They dropped 89 by the second quarter just to send a message to the league that we got the firepower. We just had an off night. So, yeah, they're in the midst of a dynasty. Think about how much people hated the Spurs back then. Think about how much people hated the Bulls or the Lakers when they were winning, or Boston Celtics when they were winning so many games.
Or
like you said, you a Heat fan, the hate's going to come. You know what I'm saying? So we not scared. We embracing it. It's just 1 out of 82 games. We got a whole season left, man.
Hey.
Ain't even worried about all this. As long as we in there during the playoffs, we gonna make things happen.
Who you got on Thursday though?
Who they playing on Thursday? Let me know.
The Miami Heat.
Oh yeah, y'all ain't got no offense like that.
I got a prop bet for you, Bowler. A
Okay.
prop bet.
You said what?
Do you think I got $20 that Draymond Green grabbed someone nuts this year for a technical foul?
I'm not even gonna comment on that, bro. Let's keep it PG. Let's keep it PG.
I got $20 that says he does. If you say no, we'll put it on right now.
Yeah, he's something else. How long have you been
bruh.
regretting that lie, Dave?
Hey, bro.
I'm just saying, if you want to take the bet, $20.
Nah, I'm good. It's all right.
That's fucking funny, bro.
On another topic, since we on the NBA, Lakers are still winless. It's gotten to the point where I've been reading reports that their coach, I can't think of his name right now.
Darvin Ham.
Yeah, Darvin Ham was apologizing for benching Westbrook indirectly. Source of the Undisputed show, Skip was talking about how he shouldn't have been apologizing, and now he's back in the starting lineup, and they're hoping they don't play. They don't play him when they play. Are they playing right now?
They're playing Denver. Russ is out for this game, and they're down by 8 with a minute to go in the first half.
Okay, so maybe if they win this game, but I think they need to go ahead and trade him or don't play him again, make him come off the bench, send the message to the league that he's no longer wanted, to where he's gonna want to get out too. But it's just hurting him when he's like they're up 2. You got however many seconds on it, and he said he was always taught. Go 2 for 1, and everybody just looking at him like, "Where's your basketball IQ?" It makes no sense, man.
I heard an interesting thing. I don't even know what source this comes from. I heard that the Lakers want to keep playing Westbrook so that there's certain, because it was sent out to the league that you can't tank, like a big warning, no tanking, and they're going to keep playing Westbrook so that to give them trade bait, like, hey, you can get Westbrook and pretend like you're playing, but you're going to lose every game. That sounds crazy enough.
It actually doesn't sound too crazy. It makes a lot of sense.
So they might just keep playing them, show teams like, hey, if you want to tank, get this motherfucker who sucks. Westbrook.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna say the same thing I've been saying for 27 episodes. He can't shoot. So what do you got? Like, how do you?
But he can't shoot, but I sure know he be pulling up with confidence.
No, that's a stat I heard about the Lakers, is that they are literally like bottom 3 in 3-point shooting, but they're top 3 in 3 points attempted. So they know they can't shoot,
but they launching them
and they shooting. Like it doesn't. You're playing a jump shot stop like when you don't have that stuff. I don't understand.
Speaking of shooting, man, up and coming cat people have been talking about tanking for Victor Wembanyama, if I said his name correctly.
I think you actually hit it.
The last name sounds somewhat African. If I had to guess,
no.
if I had to guess, he is from Kenya. It sounds Kenyan, but go ahead.
I just think that he is the only physical like, to me, basketball is, you have like guys with certain skill sets. You got the Kyries, you got the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got the guys who are just really, really skilled. But then you just got the physical specimens. You got the KDs, you got the LeBrons, you got the Shaquille O'Neals, you got the, just like the Giannis Antetokounmpos, the you know what I mean? Like, you got the guys who are just like, you can't even imitate this shit.
My bad. He's from Congolese. I just looked it up.
Oh.
African brother, man.
Okay. He said, I had to guess. You wanted to say Nigeria. You just wanted to claim him. I already know.
We knew he wasn't Nigerian.
Give respect.
Too slim.
Too slim. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he's gonna be that next guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, will turn the team around. Kind of what franchises might hope a Chet Holmgren type will be, like, you know, those unicorn players, those different players, those players that be different. But like this guy, I would literally, if you showed highlights of him playing basketball every pod, I'd be like, yo, that's valid. You know what I mean? He's probably that good.
Well, he's got sports in his DNA. They said his father was former long jumper, and his mother was a basketball player. So he's got the DNA.
Yeah.
And they both played sports in France. So,
I mean, say you get your athletics from your mom,
yeah.
and she was a basketball player. I'm
Dr. Lund breaking it down. The genetics, I don't know.
The question is, like, is this the obvious next generational talent of like LeBron and everything? And I think yes. Like, I don't think he's gonna be a bust or anything like that. I think it's obvious. Like, you got to take him number one.
I would definitely tank for him if I was an NBA team.
Like, he's like those plays where we're just like, oh, Giannis is unstoppable. He's already doing that.
Yeah.
Giannis had to kind of come into it. This dude be, bro, killing. Like, I just don't unguardable stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? You out there trying your hardest, got your hands up high. Like, it's
he's gonna have to beef up though once he gets to the league though.
That's how it always, Giannis had to do it too. That's how it always goes.
Curry,
that's a part of it. That's a part of it. That's just a part of it. It'll take him some time to probably dominate like that in the league, but you give him these spots, it's just like he's not gonna not produce. He's gonna score. So
you got a point.
He's 7'3".
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Before we get to our last topic of the night, let's get paid real quick. Let's talk about our sponsors.
Oh, we love Carson.
You hater. Hey. Gold Standard Farms LLC is the boutique hemp farm specializing in organic hemp cultivation, seed genetics, R&D, and eco-friendly hemp-based material. Found in Martin, Tennessee, 1941. For more information, please email karson@goldstandardfarms.com. And the last topic of the evening is two players have dropped from Donda Sports. I didn't even know he had a sports agent, man. This
a good one. This a good one, bowler.
Here we go.
I'm gonna let you guys give y'all take. I'm gonna pull up what I have on the two if I can find it, the two athletes that have dropped from Donda Sports. So we can just read their official statements, and then we can give our take on that.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this actually.
So let's see if I can make this bigger. Says here that Aaron Donald's tweeted, "Our family has made the decision to part ways with Donda Sports. The recent comments and displays of hate and anti-Semitism are the exact opposite of how we choose to live our lives and raise our children. We find them to be irresponsible and go against everything we believe in as a family." I'm not going to read the whole thing just because it's 3 paragraphs. Jaylen Brown said, "In the past 24 hours, I've been able to reflect and better understand how my previous statements lack clarity in expressing my stance against recent insensitive public remarks and actions. For that, I apologize, and in this, I seek to be as clear as possible. I have always and will always continue to stand strong against any anti-Semitism, hate speech, misrepresentation, and oppressive rhetoric of any kind." With that said, Dane, you have the floor. How does all this make you feel? What's your opinion on what's going on?
Well, I heard through Drew. I haven't actually listened to the full interview. I don't believe, as a Jew myself, I don't believe it was super anti-Semitic, but I believe that everything before the interview was grounds for canceling Kanye West. Let's say right now, canceling Kanye West. Even before that, the White Lives Matter, the Trump shit, blah 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 blah, and this was the final straw. And I think as these NFL players go, obviously, if I was an NFL player, I want see Black and successful people keep flourishing.
Right.
I would want someone who's Black and successful to represent me, and for them not to say pro-Trumpy things and things like White Lives Matter. And then if I get the green light to just cut the tie like everyone else, like Adidas, based on some anti-Semitic rhetoric in an interview, I'm gonna pull the trigger too. I'll get you to represent me, Bola. You'd be a better representative of my morals than Kanye West. I don't really need him in that regard. That's my opinion.
Drew, you want to go or should I go?
I'll go next.
Okay.
And I'll let you wrap it up. Kanye West. It's been a long journey with Kanye. I think we all three could say that since the beginning, we've been very close to it. Both of y'all being from Chicago, me being from the Midwest as well. You know what I mean? Like, we've been very close to Kanye the whole time. And I remember when I was in high school mopping the floor at Burger King and looking up and him saying George Bush don't care about Black people. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember them also cutting to Chris Tucker, who had no idea what the fuck to say. So it's so hard to ride for Kanye to the fullest. And that's why I was telling him earlier, I'm like 66% on the guy. Music, undeniable. So let's get that out the way. That's the one thing I do want to say. The music, undeniable. From the production, undeniable. Absolute genius. So we'll put that aside. We accept all that. As far as the MAGA hat, White Lives Matter, all the... I'm going to say it, in my opinion, messing with Kim Kardashian in the first place, all of it, it's just like, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you have to hold him accountable. And while I'm watching this 3.5-hour interview, I agree with about 66% of it, because some of the stuff he says is true. Some of the other stuff gets lost in the extras, and it takes from the credibility of the statements. And it's very difficult to cipher through if you're not very intelligent. And unfortunately, we do live in a society where ignorance is bliss. So a lot of what Kanye says can get manipulated, construed, and he talks about that. But at the end of the day, it's not something, like Dane said, it's not something that a lot of people can or will surround themselves with. And when it comes to money, finances, business, this can affect it. So if his canceling or his exclusion from the mainstream is what he needs to maybe, I'm not saying no, I would never try to silence the brother. I love Kanye, but it's like, how it's not what he's saying, it's almost how he's saying it. You know what I'm saying? And it's more, but I do like the simple fact of the Drink Champs interview saying, he was open and saying, it's a jealousy thing. The anger comes from the jealousy of just wanting the success from a similar community, an oppressed community. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I don't want that part of his message to be misconstrued, but how you handle things is very important, and I can't co-sign 100%.
Well, I'll say this, and my wife actually brought this to my attention, and I had to think about it. Somebody said Kanye West just got rid of all his deals to all these companies with no penalty. That he's been trying to end his relationship with Adidas for years. And he strikes me as somebody that is very intelligent, that nothing happens by chance.
Yeah.
He carefully picks his speech. You know, back when we were in college, him and 50 Cent, who was also a genius, fabricated a whole beef just to see who could sell more records. Now that's more common in the music industry, but he doesn't strike me. And then touching on the whole MAGA stuff, he wore a White Lives Matter shirt, or even when he said slavery was a choice. I'll focus more on that topic. And listening to the Breakfast Club this morning, they were talking about how Charlemagne specifically, these aren't my opinions, I'll state that again. He basically said he applauds the Jewish community because they came together. It was part of his Donkey of the Day statement. They came together, held these companies accountable and said, hey, you need to hold Kanye accountable and get rid of his sponsorship or else, and force those companies to act. When he made all these statements about slavery was a choice, George Floyd murder was a setup, or, wearing the White Lives Matters and defaming the efforts of Black Lives Matter, whatever you may want to call it. Us as a culture, Black people did not step up and tell anybody, hey, hold Kanye accountable for everything he's doing. We're not going to let him get away with this. And Charlemagne brought that up because there was some sheriff or some mayor in North Carolina, I believe, and he was recorded saying that he hates all Black people that work for him. And the Black people in that town, the NAACP, filed petitions and they got his job taken away. They didn't just talk about it and make videos, they made something happen. And it is on the record, anytime anything happens to the Jewish community, they take action and they make things happen. So I blame communities, not just Kanye's behavior. I don't want to say I'm blaming Black people for what he said, but we've been audience. Like, it's almost like we thrive on what's Kanye said again today.
Right.
But we're doing nothing to stop it whatsoever. We'll talk about it. Oh man, Kanye crazy again, man.
Right.
But look how fast they acted. He made these statements, and within a week span, he's lost every single endorsement. Just like that. Whether that's what he wanted to happen or not, it's happened. That's how much power and influence the Jewish community have on this world. And that may be what Kanye was trying to allude to.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And look how fast they made it happen. And again, I haven't seen the interview. I'm not privy to every little thing that he said, like Dane was alluding to. But in recent history, I've noticed that anytime anybody that is not Jewish, specifically Black people, claim that they are the real Jews, or they are the ones really entitled to the promised land, that's viewed as anti-Semitism too. And they're almost in a world, and I may be wrong, because I don't know exactly what he said. But if that is the case, is that fair? To me, that's more of a religious debate than factual. Because if you believe that you are a Jew based on continental history and where your ancestors were brought up, a lot of people say the Bible was written in Africa. What's so wrong with a Black man saying, no, I'm a Jew too? And I don't know if that's what all he said. Knowing Kanye, he was probably very, very offensive. And I don't want you guys to misconstrue my point. I'm not defending him. He's obviously said a lot of offensive things and needs to be punished for it. And he also makes great music. He's a genius, but that doesn't excuse the dumb things that he has said. But I also want us as a people, as a community, witnessing what the Jewish community just did with Kanye. We should be holding ourselves accountable. When anybody does anything to our community, we should be holding our leaders accountable hey, I just elected you to office, Reverend Warnock. What are you going to do about what this person is doing here? What are you going to force the businesses to do? How are you going to make a change? Or are you just going to sit by and say, this type of speech is not tolerated and we won't accept it? And that's the end of your action. Or should I say inaction? And I'll leave it at that.
I think that's an amazing perspective from your wife, but I think that there's several elements that may not necessarily be true, and that anytime someone says an anti-Semitic remark, the Jewish community doesn't take action. You know, the whole Trump movement has been fueled with all the sorts of anti-Semitic remarks and people on Fox and this and that who haven't been canceled. But I think it was the culmination within like a short period of time, all these different racist and cancelable remarks were made, and this was the final straw. That's my opinion, but I get where you're coming from, where people could see like, oh, the Jewish people took power with this and that. And I also think, and I don't have enough education to back this up, but there's a difference with Jews. I don't claim that like my holy land is from Africa, because Jews were spread out throughout the world. We were dispersed. So like my land was, I'm a Ukrainian Jew. So it gets in the interview, Drew was saying something, or like Kanye he's Jewish really, but like, you know, there's many elements of it. It's such a diverse population at this point, since it's a long period of prosecution where it just gets convoluted. But that's a whole nother.
I mean,
topic.
they started with 12 tribes back then. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, and you know what I'm saying, I follow Christ myself, but I read the Etzaim. I read all 3 books, but y'all know me. That's why I'm church. You know what I mean? I read all 3. So to me, I understand what he's saying. We are all Semites. So that's why, and his point in the thing is like, what's more anti-Semite than the violent rap that is constantly promoted? You see what I'm saying? What's more anti-Semite than that is what he was saying. That's his point. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So to me, and he agrees, Kanye hasn't necessarily said anything that's actually really like he's sitting right here. He's telling me he's listening to Kanye. He doesn't really feel that what Kanye's saying is actually that it's just a label. But Kanye is so ready to fight that he's ready to wear that label and still try to deliver the message. And that's what I'm trying to say is a very difficult, you know what I'm saying, thing to navigate if you don't actually know what's going on. And we know that 85% of people don't really know what's going on.
Beyond all these messages and weird ploys, and
it's like
and people that we know who are bipolar, we know someone went to college with that behave like this. Beyond all this, what has Kanye really done for Black people in the community that he loves so much recently? I can't think of a fucking thing. So we can come up with these coincidences and this and that to make excuses because he's rich and he's famous and we see him on Instagram. He's not doing shit but causing problems, fueling hate for the people that hate Black people. So you can get him the fuck out of there as far as I'm concerned. And I love him to death. He's my favorite artist ever.
And I'll end this segment with just a statement from Charlemagne. Kanye West is just a Black man desperately seeking white validation. And on that note, we'll end this episode. Great talk, my brother. This is a topic that we cannot cover in just one. We'd love to have you back again, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And we'll see how it goes from here, man. And with that said, I'll end us with this track.
Hopefully it's not Kanye.